What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Phaithful Phanatics show. Happy, almost New Year. Happy New Year's Eve, Scotty, my man. We are back here on the DSM Philadelphia YouTube channel, as well as the DSM Twitter page. So first and foremost, guys, make sure to check us out on Twitter at DSM_media is where you can find us. Make sure to hit that follow button. And then if you want to be interactive throughout today's show or any of our live streams, like you can see with the comment pulled up here on the screen, make sure to check out the YouTube link. It's in the link tree in our bio, like I mentioned before. So subscribe, share it with your friends, family, any other Philly sports fans that you may know that can enjoy the content like my man D-Rab is doing right here. It is the best and only spot to get your thoughts and questions pulled up here with us. I'm one half of your host, Dylan Davis. To my right, my faithful co-host, Scotty. The Birds pull out the win in Buffalo, 13-12. Josh Allen and Sean McDermott decide to go for the 2-point conversion, and Josh Allen misses the throw in the back left of the end zone to ice the game. The Eagles move to 11-5. Reports coming out this morning. We're going to talk about it later on in the week, and we'll probably get into it a little bit on today's show about whether to rest the starters or most of the starters in the Week 18 finale against the Commanders at home, or to fight for that 2 seed that they're fighting with the Bears with right now. And the Sixers had a ridiculous overtime game last night down in Memphis over John Morant and them. VJ Edgecombe, incredibly clutch. Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, Paul George get their first win of the season as all three are on the floor together. So we got that to talk about. That and a lot more, man. So tap in, subscribe, follow. Happy New Year. What is going on, TR? What is up, my guy?
Yes, sir. Happy New Year's Eve, my man. Happy to be back here with you. Coming off 2 Philly W's, that's always a good feeling as we go into the new year. So I was definitely happy the Sixers could set the vibes right last night. I was getting really worried, man, because we'll obviously get into it later. But the late game execution is just, or lack thereof, is just ridiculous with this Sixers team. I don't know if it's coaching or if it's if it's coach in planning or if it's execution and how it plays out. Either way, it's fucking dreadful to watch at the end of Sixers games, especially when they have like a 2-possession lead in these spots. It's really annoying, but great to have W's. Great to come out of that Buffalo game with the W. And yeah, man, we'll start right there, I'm sure. But like we've been saying, the defense for the Eagles is ready to go. The defense for the Eagles is ready to win a Super Bowl. Will the offense be able to do enough? But we'll get into that with when we talk about this game.
I'm glad you said that, because that's where I kind of really want to start. And don't get me wrong, we're going to get into the ins and outs of this game. What changed after coming out of halftime offensively, whether it's Kevin Patullo, Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts, all three of them made comments following the Jekyll and Hyde kind of halves as well. And it's not like the Eagles lit up the scoreboard or were just moving the ball methodically against the Bills the entire first half. But Jalen just looked like a completely different guy. He's making clutch throws, moving out of the pocket, escaping sacks, making tight window throws. And for about 2 or 3 possessions there in a row leading into halftime, they were moving the ball 10, 11, 13-play drives, chewing up clock, putting up points. And then the second half, you completely forgot about that again. Here's why I'm glad you said that, because that's kind of where the conversation leads again. The Eagles won the game, but. And it always comes back to this offense. So for the conversation or for the question in regards to this offense will hold them back from winning a Super Bowl, or they can't win a Super Bowl this way. My question to that, Scotty, is why can't anyone beat them that way then?
It's fair.
Because the first half of it, before that but comes in, the Eagles won the game. The Bills failed. The Rams failed. The Lions failed. The Packers failed. I know the Chiefs were the Chiefs. We know all that happened this year. They didn't make the playoffs. Mahomes injured all the way back in like week 3 in Arrowhead. The Chiefs failed. All playing this way. All offensive issues. So we keep going back and forth. Oh, well, they'll never win a Super Bowl this way. And I'm not excusing the offense. I'm not saying they will win a Super Bowl this way. But why doesn't it matter? Well, why doesn't it matter that these teams can't come through? Oh, the offense is so bad. The offense is so bad. The offense is so bad. Why couldn't the Bills pull out a win at home and lose that game? Why did the Rams let up the second half that they let up after the first half they had? so on and so forth. The Packers and Jordan. Why doesn't it matter?
Yeah. No, I definitely think that's a great question to start with here. Because when you take a look at the grand scheme of the NFL right now, I think you asked those questions across the board. And shout out to my mom in the comments right now, because me and her, she came over this week and we got into this stuff over the weekend. And it's annoying because you gotta come with the balance, right? Like, yes, the offense for our standard, for our expectations, and for the talent that is on the roster is not meeting expectations. We can all agree there. I think the baseline of this conversation, and for me, and I texted you after that game immediately. Now, I had a lot of other things going into that game, fantasy, money, bets, all of that going into that game. So I come out of that game instantly with some harsh feelings for the Eagles in that win. And I still do. Like, the offense is unacceptable in that second half. It's not to say that is an excuse or acceptable, not by any means, but the baseline we have to work with right now is also looking at the rest of the NFL. You look at the Chicago Bears and the 49ers, for example, they come out on Sunday Night Football in a huge matchup where the Bears can lock in their seeding. San Fran is fighting for the NFC West title right now. And these motherfuckers give up 42 and 38 points a pop. Brock Purdy starts the game with a pick six in that matchup. And that all just gets swept under the rug, right? Chicago's rolling, they're scoring points. San Fran's rolling, they're scoring points. But what happens when they run into a defense like the Eagles? And especially once you get to that biggest stage, when you look at the Super Bowl and what you're going to potentially play out of the AFC, it's going to be a defensive-oriented team for the most part, outside of Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. And I think the biggest thing, I mentioned Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, you just held them to fucking 12 points in Buffalo. So I think we need to take a step back. I'm talking to myself as well. Come back to that baseline. The baseline right now is that we're upset that the Eagles really just can't separate themselves as the number one over everyone else. We can't do that right now. But you can say the Eagles have as good of a shot at winning the Super Bowl as anyone else left in the NFL and left in the playoff scenario because of that defense and because of the experience and the talent that we know that offense holds.
Yes.
So, man, that's my baseline right now.
I agree.
We're just not better than everyone, but we are still really good.
Threw in a question in the middle there, like, when you were talking about the 49ers win and giving up 38 in the week last week and what the Rams and the Seahawks have been doing in their battles. And it's like, for some reason, and I get from a viewing standpoint, it's more entertaining to watch, but for some reason, Scotty, it's more acceptable to play a game that is 42-38 than to win a game 13-12. Like, it's more acceptable to lose. It's more acceptable to lose when you lose 42-38 than it is to win 13-12 for some reason. And that's kind of where I get lost. I do. There is a part of me that agrees. I think I said it 5-6 weeks ago. In the back of your mind, it does feel like you can't keep getting away with it. To your mom's point here, eventually Kevin Patullo and this offense and the stagnant, all that, eventually you would think NFC Championship game and divisional round, somewhere along the line, that's got to catch up to you, right? My question coming in was, why can't anyone take advantage of it then?
Right now.
And this is it. They're not playing terrible offense and squeaking by the Dolphins and the Browns and the Saints and the Panthers. No. I'm asking you why all these teams that everyone considers Super Bowl contenders can't finish the job, even though the Eagles offense played so poorly in said game. Why couldn't the Rams hold on to that lead after the Eagles offense was so bad in the first half? Why couldn't the Bills at home take advantage there? Why couldn't the Packers at home? Why couldn't the Lions, who I know aren't a playoff team, but regardless, the Lions offense, like, why can't these Super Bowl legit teams take advantage? And that's where I start to ease my mind a little bit. Like you're talking about, like, this is debate. Like, is it how you would think they win a Super Bowl? No. But the whole conversation of this is what's going to prevent them, we'll see. Because and I just want to throw this to you, man. when you look around the NFC as well, because people keep throwing around the word parity, it's funny. I think you were the first person that threw it to me like week 4 of the season. And now you're seeing it a lot with how the playoff matchups are starting to straighten out.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm looking around the NFC and I'm looking at what took place Monday night. And everyone talks about this team, and this is no disrespect to Pastor Rems or Digital Rems or whatever it is.
Yeah.
They're still awesome. Like I get it.
Yeah.
Stafford would be the MVP. I get it.
Yeah.
But it's like the idea of the Rams is what people hold on to. The Rams had the same record as the Eagles.
Right.
The Rams just lost back-to-back games. The Rams just lost to Kirk Cousins and a 6-9 at the time Falcons team.
And what happened in that Falcons game?
Stafford
How did they lose?
Stafford turned the ball over.
Well, no. Well, yeah, that happened. But they got ran down their throats by Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
Like
93 yards to the house. Yeah. And then you go back to the week 3 matchup head-to-head. They lost the Eagles. So, like, my point is, man, like, people like to hold on to the offensive. I don't know. That's just kind of where I'm at. No. I know we got to get into the game itself because it was not pretty offensively at all. Yeah. I'm saying it nicely. But
no, I think you bring up the perfect team to kind of just balance this all out. It's the LA Rams, right? That's everyone's sweetheart in the NFC. From my perspective, everyone feels like this is going to be the Rams season. You'll go out, you'll hear the excuse of Devontae Adams not being available for the Rams, and that's why they're struggling right now. We don't have Lane Johnson. You know what I mean? Like, so this can go in all different.
We didn't have Lane Johnson or Jalen Carter for like 4 straight weeks.
Right. That's not an excuse. It's just what happens. And yeah, to your point, man, I think that is a great place to start the show. Just to balance this out, put everything into perspective as we go into this game, because yes, this game was frustrating as hell. They still won.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get into it.
And obviously, they win because of that defense. But let's start with the Jekyll and Hyde of the offense, man. So, like I mentioned in the first couple minutes there, Jalen, I was texting you like, all right, like, this is your game, right? Like, he came out in the first half. He wasn't lighting up the scoreboard, but that 110 yards, the 13 completions that you see at the end of game box score, that's what he had in the first half. I believe he was 13 of like 20 or something like that at halftime. 110 yards, the passing touchdown to Goddard. And I kept going back to the big time throws, the third down throws, the escaping a sack when it looks like the play is lost and making a tight window throw to AJ on the boundary or finding Smitty over the middle. Jalen was locked in, man. And they only scored 13 points. It was the weather was ridiculous, everything. Then you get to the second half, and it's like they just reel everything back in. Even though it wasn't an impressive first half, there were still positives we were seeing from the offense. And again, that same offense took 19 steps backwards. This all has to do with the play calling, in my opinion. Like, I didn't sit there and, maybe I'm putting on the Jalen cape. I don't know if people see it differently. I know someone will, but you handcuffed this entire offense. And I'll start with what they do on early downs, man. And this is where Kevin Patullo loses me in his comments about, we just need one play. That's why it's frustrating. We just need one play to break things open and to get us on track and to get us going. And we thought we had there for a second. Here's what the Eagles did in the second half. Ironically enough, Scotty, the first 2 plays of the third quarter were successful. A 5-yard run to Saquon and a 10-yard run to Saquon. Now, here's where the imbalance and playing behind the sticks comes in. After that, you went incompletion, so that's 2nd and 10. You then did my least favorite thing in the entire world. You ran it on 2nd and 10. Oh, Saquon minus 2 yards. Now you're in 3rd and long. Incompletion, you punt. The next drive, you go 3 straight passes. Incomplete. The one was the Smitty review, whatever. But still, no balance. Incomplete. The next drive, you go 2-yard run, drop back on 3rd and 6 at your own 5-yard line, mind you, sack. And then 2 drives left in the game, 3-yard run, 1-yard run, 2nd and 7 at your own 23, punt. And then the last drive, my favorite one, negative 3-yard run, 1-yard run, incomplete 3rd and 12. There's no balance. There's no creativity. The run, you're consistently playing in 2nd and 3rd and long. And that's what they had been doing in weeks prior. They weren't doing that so much in the first half, and then they did it in the second half, and it should have and almost cost them the game.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree with you. I guess my only it's not even a counterpoint. I agree with everything you said. My only other concern, I guess, is the offensive line.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
specifically Cam Jurgens, man. What the fuck?
Terrible. Terrible.
The lack of ability to run the football, and to your point, the play calling, because like at the beginning of the game, even I was kind of pissed off that we started the game with 3 passes in the rain. But I get it. You gotta create variability within your play calling. You can't be predictable. I get that part of it, but to your point, man, the inconsistencies. I think there was a 3rd and 8 where Will Shipley's out on the field. Once you do the HB draw on 3rd and long so many times with Will Shipley in the game, it's going to become expected. I think that's common knowledge. And I knew when Will Shipley was in the game, we were going to run a running back draw. Like I said it to Alexis when it happened. And it's shit like that just really, really irks my nerves. Then you get to the second half, man, and you mentioned it. They put the fucking seatbelt on. And I mean, they put like 3 or 4 of them across the fucking chest of Jalen Hurts in this offense. And it's just so odd, man. It's so odd to do that with so much talent on the offense, so many players that can deliver that knockout punch. And that's what I was seeing this entire game. The defense would deliver what would be a knockout punch to the Buffalo Bills, giving the offense a pristine opportunity to take advantage, get a double-digit, a massive lead, a lead that you need against a team like the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. And the offense just comes out, whether it's a mistake, running the football, a missed block, whether it's bad play calling on first down. Now you get yourself behind the sticks and then you don't know what to do with it. It's just infuriating, man. And then the thing that confuses me, because I agree with you, the play calling is horrid. It's just when you have like these little things mixed in, like the Smitty drop, I guess. And then the AJ Brown, non-call pass interference.
Right.
Shit like that, right? Like that's the shit that like kind of well, if they give AJ Brown that pass interference, we probably score 7 there. Maybe the game.
Well, it's different. At the 2 or 1 yard line. So
right.
I would
right.
So.
Same thing with Smitty. You get that long completion. I think that was on like a 3rd and 12 or something. You get that completion. You're in Buffalo's field on their side of the field in their territory. Maybe that changes the game, but we are too good to rely on flags. We are too good to rely on officiating.
Yeah.
And in the past, we've been able to overcome that. So I can't sit here and like tally that in as, like an excuse, man.
And especially in a game that was that came down to just this every time. You ever just hear, obviously you've heard, it's a game of inches, right? And I just remember sitting there late in the 4th quarter thinking, holy shit, this is as big of a game to inches as I've ever can recall. Like I just off the top of my head, and I had more watching it in real time, but off the top of my head, I can give you the Braden Mann punt that should have been downed at the half-yard line, but his toe was on the goal line when he touched it, right? The helmet catch by some no-name fucking receiver that no one has ever heard of down the boundary, right? To set them up down there. You had the Brandon Cooks catch. And then on the opposite end for us, right? You had Josh who gets his butt hits the ground this much before the goal line and turns the ball over on downs. There was the Smitty catch that gets reversed. There was just many plays.
The Josh Allen fumble, right? That could have been an incomplete pass. Like it could have been.
There was just just by this much, one way or the other, and this is what the game was coming down to, man. And then I swear to God, I know this has nothing to do with it at all, but I was just getting so frustrated because tell me if I'm wrong here, but didn't it stop raining on the Bills' final drive?
It did, yeah.
Like this whole game is played in a fucking monsoon. And here we go, 2-minute drill, and there's no weather. And it's like, what button did they just pull? What lever did they just pull
love it.
to stop it on that drive? Let me ask you this though, man. On the other side of things, because I've seen a lot of conversation about it. You said the name Colin Cowherd to me before the show, but it's actually I'm glad you did because it reminded me of something he said. the decision by McDermott to go for 2, and there's people saying I like it a lot. Look, I'm not saying you don't have to like it. I'm not saying I wouldn't have done it. I don't know. But people, Colin Cowherd specifically, his explanation for why he liked it completely went against why he should like it.
Yeah.
Like, Philly only had 17 yards of offense. You were those are all reasons to kick the extra point.
Yeah.
And take it to overtime because Philly can't move the ball. You are at home. I would have kicked the extra point. I swear on my life, I would have kicked the extra point. I would have sent to overtime. You would have had all the momentum down 13-0 in your building, the weather stopping, and Philly can't do anything for 2 quarters against you offensively. Why wouldn't you believe in your defense to get a stop?
Yeah, I think it's a fair point. I think I don't know if there's like a right or wrong decision in this scenario, because on the other end of that is Jalen Hurts, Saquon, AJ. You know what I mean? Like, you put them back on the field potentially. Right. You do have to get one more stop against that unit. I do feel you, though. Momentum-wise, the way the team was playing, I think that can be kind of argued for the offense, too. I guess, like, they scored on their last 2 out of 3 drives or something like that. So I guess that was the idea.
They scored on their last 2.
The only reason that I would opt to go for it, and I would have to go back and look at all the stipulations for the Buffalo Bills. I think that loss knocked them out of contention for the AFC, the AFC East title, right? But looking at that situation, you're at home. It is like a monsoon out. You maybe just want to get out of this game without having any major injuries, and you just go for the W with the momentum right there. I don't know. I kind of get that, but I get it more from the Eagles side of things, where you have only an outside chance of even getting that 2 seed in the first place. So I guess for the Buffalo Bills, it is a little different. If you really want to win that game, you need to take that into overtime.
And now let me put my cape on for QB1 one last time, because this is where things get really ironic to me, man. Josh played really well in this game, but it's just funny to me because, man, in that Super Bowl in 2022 when we lost, and Jalen Hurts played as good a Super Bowl as I've ever seen a quarterback play. I mean, maybe only Nick Foles and Tom Brady a few years prior played a better, quarterbacking game in a Super Bowl, right? What did everyone talk about as to why the Eagles lost the game?
That fumble. Yeah.
He fumbled, right? So in this game, just the way that they're talked about, man, just the way that he's talked about versus other stars in the league. So in this game, Josh Allen and his offense scored a grand total of 12 points at home. Their defense kept them in the game time and time and time and time again. Josh Allen, when the weather stopped, missed a wide open receiver to win the game in the back of the end zone. Josh Allen, earlier in the game when it was 0-0 and driving on the other side of Philly's territory, came forward with a tuck basically and fumbled the ball and set the Eagles up to go down and get 7 to make it 7-0. You hear peep about how Josh Allen cost his team the game?
Dan Orlovsky.
And what I'm saying is flip it. Flip it, flip it, flip it. The Eagles lose 13-12 at home. The defense kept them in it. Jalen has one throw to make to win the game. He misses it. Jalen turns the ball over. The Bills go make it 7-0 to open it up. He's crucified if that happens.
Yeah. Come on. No. Stop it. Like, stop it. Seriously, nobody gives a fuck when Jalen Hurts twists his ankle and has a sprained ankle. Nobody gives a fuck. It's not an excuse. He played in the game. He did not.
And he was moving
too.
They were talking about it.
Lose the game. He made mistakes to lose the game. Let's say it together. Josh Allen made mistakes to lose that football game.
And he did have 2 fumbles, HP, but he recovered. They recovered one of them.
It's not the end of the world. We're not saying that Josh Allen isn't an MVP candidate. No. That he isn't a top quarterback in the NFL.
No.
But he did make plays to lose his team the game in a huge spot at home against the defending Super Bowl champion.
And what I'm saying is, exactly. And what I'm saying is how the other side would be discussed if he did that.
Exactly.
And that's
if
what
Hurts goes out there and plays
Matthew
like that.
Stafford on Monday Night Football, right? Like, and Jalen did it on Monday Night Football a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
5 interceptions, like 5 turnovers was terrible. But what I'm saying, like,
we heard about it.
Keep it. Yeah, we
heard about it. We don't hear about Stafford back-to-back weeks turning the ball over.
Wait. Not only did we hear about it, should they bench him next week?
Yeah, you're right. That did happen. That did fucking happen.
But you don't hear that Jimmy Garoppolo should be starting next week for the Rams, right? That's what I'm talking about, man. It's nonsense. One dude has a Super Bowl MVP. Other dudes don't. And the way they're talked about is crazy.
Where's Pumper at, man? Motherfucker disappears. VJ Edgecombe and Jalen Hurts and Eagles winning. But no, I did want to pull up HP's comment regarding the scenario. This is a great point. Maybe we could talk about the defense a little bit in that regard as well. Maybe he was scared of Jalen Carter blocking that shit or Jordan Davis blocking that shit, because it happens fairly often this season, right? I think they have a combined 3 to 4 field goal blocks this season. So
they're awesome, dude. I'm glad you said that, because like, while all the conversation goes to, I guess, the negative side, even though it was a win, you do have to focus on why they won the game, obviously. Yeah. And this defensive line, especially getting Jalen Carter back, it's just humongous. Jalix Hunt, like, talk about that's a pick that no one talks about. Howie Roseman, no one talks about that draft pick and Howie Roseman nailing that. Jalix Hunt's a monster.
He was after and Q.
Yeah. And Jalen Phillips, I think, had the most pressures this week out of any edge rusher or any defensive lineman and linebacker in the National Football League this week. He just continues to be all around the quarterback and making plays. Yeah. And then you get Carter back. First week back, dude. Block extra point. That changes the entire game. He doesn't block that extra point. They do just kick an extra point and win the game at the end. So, that changes the dynamic. Jordan Davis has been really good. Zach Bond all over the field. I thought Jahad Campbell in for Nakobe Dean again was fantastic. In coverage. Yeah. A guy, even like we were talking about weeks ago, man, like Marcus Epps. I think early in the game he had either a penalty or got beat once, and I was like, oh shit, here we go.
Bullshit holding call at the beginning of the game. Zach Bond got a sack in that play.
Yeah, and it's like after that, Marcus Epps is making plays and getting to Josh Allen. Obviously Coop.
I think he's the one that flipped James Cook on his head, right?
Yeah,
was that Epps?
I think you're right. Yeah. I believe so. So just everybody, man. Vic Fangio, this unit just has a lot of dogs. And if I just remember going back to the beginning of the season, obviously the Jalen Phillips edition matters greatly, but remember when this was how are they going to win it? How are they going to win a Super Bowl with this defensive line? And how we did a terrible job at replacing who left. And this unit's back to just dominating football games.
Yeah. I think that's a great point, man, because it's not just the Jalen Phillips edition, although that is maybe the turning point where the defense turned from good to great to legitimately elite, right? After that bye week, when they came out, they have just been locked down since. It was also adding Nolan Smith, getting him back from injury, getting Nakobe Dean back from injury, getting why is it slipping my mind? BG, adding him back to the mix, his leadership in that locker room. He's even been making plays when he is in there for short amounts of time. And so across the board, these guys are making plays, to your point. Shout out Vic Fangio. He puts these guys in incredible situations. There was a point in the game where I saw Jalen Phillips line up between Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis in a tackle spot, but standing up, and then had Jalix Hunt out on the outside on the left or something. It's just crazy what he's doing to put these guys in situations to succeed. You mentioned Jahad Campbell. I thought he fit seamlessly, which is a big thing with the way Nakobe Dean has played of late. Outrunning the offensive lineman to that ball, man. That's pure hustle on that Josh Allen fumble recovery. The guy you mentioned first, though, Jalix Hunt. I love the celebration, bro, the arrow. I did want to shout him out because he grew up or is from the little small town in Maryland that I actually grew up in called Hagerstown. So a kid, this guy, Isaiah Smith, he was younger than about 2-3 years younger than me. He actually was a football star in my town, and he played with Jalix Hunt. And so he was getting shouted out all across Hagerstown, Maryland,
Hell yeah.
since the Super Bowl, really. But it's just crazy to see what he's become. He's leading this team in sacks right now with 6.5 sacks on the season. Number 2 is Moro Ajomo, who had those guys leading the way in sacks this year. But yeah, man, I'm just looking at this defensive line, just soaking it all in. Seeing Jalen Carter come back, it's amazing. Yeah,
and that's not a negative thing, right? That's not a
No.
Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis and like they're not doing their job. No, it's not the case at all. Obviously Jalen Carter has missed a decent amount of time as well this year, but like they're the bullies that open things up for guys like a Jalix Hunt, and it's why I think you got to see Josh Sweat and Milton Williams feast in the Super Bowl and in the playoffs and get paid, because you have 2 or 3 monsters on the middle or outside that are just drawing all the attention, man. And I'm glad you said that about Fangio just having his guys ready, because we always look at the quarterback position, and rightfully so, as like the big game hunters, right? Like when you show up when the moment is the biggest, right? And that's why I'm so confident, because that's what I feel like this dude does, man. Every single big matchup, this dude's defense is on another level. They have a letdown spot on Thursday Night Football to the shitty Giants, right? They give up 22 to Carson Wentz and the Vikings in a win. They give up 20 to the Giants in a blowout win. Yada, yada, yada. 12 to the Bills. Even though in a loss, 22 to the Chargers. 9 to the Lions. 7 to the Packers. 21 to the Broncos. Obviously, that was a collapse, but obviously the offense, etc.
Yeah.
Like, this dude, his defense plays their best, plays their toughest when the bigger opponents are in town. And that's something that is just, you can't buy that, right? You can't just make that up. You can't just try to flip that week to week. That's just something that either he does or they have collectively done. But it's fun, man, because come NFC Championship, whatever it is, and it's the LA Rams offense or it's the Seahawks, whatever the case may be, that defense isn't going to shrink. That defense is going to look at me like, oh, fuck, Puka Nacua and Matthew. No, like, it's just not going to.
I think that's what maybe I was sleeping on going into this matchup. It's like, when you think about Vic Fangio, he spent time in Miami. He's played against Josh Allen a good bit. So, even just having that outline for Josh Allen in your back pocket is great to have as well. And it kind of just reminds me of Jalen Phillips, bringing him over from Miami, putting him back in Vic Fangio's defense, that seamless fit. He's been a monster, man. And I think the bigger thing for Jalen Phillips, for me, I don't know if it's because he's having fun or if it's because he's a great leader or what it is. He says what's on his mind. And I just love it. It's good vibes. Like, I love what he's brought to this defense, the positive energy. He kind of reminds these guys, as an outside perspective looking in, coming from a bad team to a great team to a defending Super Bowl champion, like, hey, you guys are still really great, in case you forgot during this process of trying to repeat. You guys are a championship organization. I can see it, and I want to contribute to that. And I just love the energy that he's brought, man. He's been great. So
it's fun, dude.
All up for the defense going forward,
it's
man.
Fun.
Marcus Epps fitting in, Adoree Jackson kind of going unnoticed. I saw my mom point out Coop DeJean. He's all over the fucking field to push that line. I know it wasn't an actual fumble, but just the awareness. Get the fuck out of my way and give me the rock, man. Like,
see it, fat boy. Yeah,
exactly. Shout out the birds, man.
But it's vibes are high, dude, and it's just this is what's funny to me. I think we actually talked about this when they were in the middle of that 3-game skid, that little losing streak, and things were looking really bad for a minute. And people were coming out of the woodwork with, oh, this is the collapse. This is worse than the 2023 collapse, and blah 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 blah. Well, where are you now? That's my question. And look, I'm not pumping my chest out because the offense did a complete 180 and they're flying all over the place or whatever. They had 2 good games against 2 bad teams, and then they took a step back against a good team, but somehow a bad defense. It still doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me what took place in the second half. But my point is, like, we talk about with how these analysts and people view the sport, man. So like we mentioned, when the Eagles beat the Lions and the Packers and whoever else 3 in a row, and the Packers had lost 2 in a row, it was the Eagles are the best team in the National Football League and the Packers aren't a playoff team. And then the Eagles lose 3 in a row and some of these Lions and Packers and whoever else win. And, these are the favorites and the Eagles can't win this way. Well, now the Eagles have won 3 in a row heading into the last week of the season. The Rams have lost 2 in a row. Other teams have lost games. What is it? Is it flipped now? Is it? Oh, the Eagles are back, and those like that's what I just can't stand like the ultimatums you make like for a 2-week period.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you, and that's we'll obviously talk about it on Turf Talk. We got that coming up after this, but things are going to change come postseason. My expectations for certain teams are going to change, right? My placement as far as their power rankings within the actual NFL is going to change come postseason.
Yeah.
Because the postseason matters, big moments matter, big stages matter come postseason in the NFL. So that's all going to be taken into account. So I think that's a great point as we step into this postseason. The slate's wiped clean. It doesn't matter what you did in the regular season at the end of the day. It's win or go home each and every week. So who do you like? Who do you like over the Eagles in that situation is the question you have to ask yourself.
Well, and last year, different people liked every team.
Yeah.
Pick the Packers.
Are we in a different spot? Like, you know what I mean? Like, are we in a different spot or are we just in the same exact spot again? Because the only difference this year is that Saquon doesn't have 2,000 yards rushing. Like, that's really the only difference. AJ went over 1,000 again. Smitty's approaching 1,000 again. Jalen's had a clean record when it comes to interception touchdown ratio. We're not doing the tush push as much this season. You can say that, but I think that's the only difference. And it's a big difference. Don't get me wrong. The rushing attack, it is a big ass difference. And it's to be clear to maybe my last note on this game, that is my biggest concern going into the postseason. Play calling is a concern. I just we've talked about it. I don't know how much it's going to get fixed. You hope that maybe Sirianni just has training wheels on. Like, you just hope that that's maybe what it is.
So let me tell you, before we move on to the Sixers, let me tell you my biggest fear.
Yeah, what's up?
Did you see Nick's press conference or listen or see any clips from Nick's press conference?
I did, yeah.
Did you? Hunter Brody made a clip on this that I saw on TikTok last night, and it was actually it stuck out to me when he pointed it out, and it was the fact, Nick was asked about the play calling and all, and then like the time management and getting a play in and the issues they've had getting low into the play clock and everything. And he said, when you're standing there and you're watching Kevin call plays or you're listening to this play come in, and your first reaction, this is Nick saying this, your first reaction is to go, but then the play clock's already down, so now you can't interject. You're
just rolling with the play.
So you're listening to your OC calling a play, let's say in a big time moment, and your thought is, well, that's not good.
That 38 run with Will Shipley.
Yeah.
Right?
So like, yeah.
I do the same thing.
That is something that's like, oh boy, let's see how this continues to work out and play itself out. Jalen was asked about the offense, and he alluded to some things like balance. We had to, duh.
Yeah. Do you think maybe Jalen takes control a little bit more come postseason? Maybe that's something that can change.
I hope so, man. Because he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback at this point.
Yeah.
He's obviously done this a lot longer than Kevin Patullo's done his job.
Yeah.
Why? Like, you keep reference, trading wheels and see. Why would that guy be the one? NFC Championship. Why would the quarterback be the one that can't do this? But we're giving Kevin Patullo the runway here. Yeah. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Not even to mention the other quarterbacks in the division or in the conference that you're going to be going against outside of Matthew Stafford, basically.
Right.
We're going to put the handcuffs on Jalen Hurts while Sam Darnold's out there playing free, or Brock Purdy's out there throwing for three. I sent you that text after that game on Sunday night. I was just like, in what fucking world does Brock Purdy throw for 3 touchdowns and run for 2, but Jalen Hurts can't get yards in a second half? Like, what world are we living in that the play calling is like this fucking?
I know.
man. Like, that is the detractor, but you just always got, once again, just revert it back. The San Francisco 49ers defense is beat the hell and back. They gave up 38 points to the Chicago Bears. Brock Purdy threw a pick six on the first play. Every team has their detractors right now, and there's one team with the Super Bowl experience. Two, the Rams. I mean, you got staff there.
Yeah. Stafford and McVay just did it a few years ago. But this is a good point by HB, man. Like, you know, we're asking, well, can't Jalen take control or adjust or check into something? And it's like, well, that was part of the Nick converse. Nick question was like the play clock and getting in a rhythm. And it's like,
I did see that part. Yeah.
Well, what the fuck? So
why does it take that? Yeah, that needs to be adjusted.
Right. Why does it take so long? Because you have a first-year guy doing it who doesn't know his fucking head from a hole in the ground. But all right, let's move on. It is funny. Someone's not in the comments today, and I'm gonna be honest, man. I don't think he's not in the comments because of the Eagles. Like I agree with you. Like, they won. But, like, it's not like QB1 had, like, this ridiculous box score that he could, hide from.
You can still talk your shit on Jalen if you wanted to, yeah.
Sure. I would disagree with you, but sure. I think he doesn't want to listen. I think he doesn't want to talk about someone else.
The third best player on the Sixers?
So the Sixers go down to Memphis last night. Play little to no defense, which is something in itself. We can talk just a complete 180 from what we discussed with the Eagles game. Right. Give up 40 and 32 in the first half. So 72-72 it is at halftime. Fight their way back after losing in the fourth quarter. 128 heading into overtime. Yeah. And then, obviously, all fourth quarter, he was a big piece as well. But in overtime, this kid Stones just continued to grow as well. VJ Edgecombe gives you 25 on 50% shooting from three as well, Scotty, in 41 minutes. This kid not only hit the game-winning bucket with like 1.4 seconds left to go at the top of the key, but continued to hit big three after big three. Big drive after finish to contact over and over and over again. You were texting me. I have no idea. I know he's a rookie. What is a foul? Like what a foul is a foul is a foul across the board. What is going on that this kid is getting mauled, finishing over top of guys and still not getting the call? Tyrese Maxey was phenomenal again. Joel Embiid dropped 34. Not great from deep, obviously, but from a physical standpoint, from an athleticism, from his legs, looked the best we've seen him. Paul George wasn't great, but did some things well. The offense was spectacular. The defense, not so much, but they get a win in overtime, the first win of the season with the big three playing together. And the story really isn't even the big three. The story is that this fourth piece, this fourth part, this rookie comes into town. And I know there's been a lot of talk about the player that John Morant's been this year, and he's been injured and he's come back. And John Morant was on one last night.
Yeah, it was.
And VJ Edgecombe went head to head with John Morant in the fourth quarter and overtime in his crib and walked out with a win. That is stones, my friend.
Yeah, no doubt. The way VJ finished this game was amazing. He had 20.6 rebounds just in the second half and overtime of this game. I know that because I laid him for 20 points of rebounds in this game. So he ended the first half with just 5 points, no rebounds, a couple assists, and then came out the second half, was initiated. He got into foul trouble early on in that game. Guarding John Morant, to your point, got into foul trouble in the first half, but came out, no rhythm, nothing, right? Comes out, scores 20, just by getting into rhythm, getting himself into rhythm, being aggressive. I do hope that he starts to get some calls, man, but Maxey went through this as well. It's gotten better with Maxey, but he still doesn't get like a very favorable whistle. But no, man, I truly enjoyed this from VJ. He's a special player, man. In those big moments, the defensive intensity specifically, and you needed that last night to get past a Ja Morant, to your point, that's having his best game of the season. A Cedric Howard last night who comes out, has his best game of a rookie season. He had 28 points, 16 rebounds, 4 assists in this game. Dunked on Embiid. What's up with Embiid getting yammed on recently? they're nasty too, but it's by these like no-name motherfuckers, like it's so annoying to watch, but it like makes their life, dunking on Embiid. But no, I just thought this was a great all-around win. Now, yes, to your point, you want to play better defensively, of course. I guess you go out there on the road. It's been a few days since you played.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit to get into that flow, but the biggest thing for me was, one, coming away with the win. They had lost 3 straight heading into that one, so they needed a win to get back in that win column, get back up in the Eastern Conference standings, not lose track so much. But the late game execution, I know I said earlier it was horrid, and it was. Like, even in overtime, there was some shot selections that Embiid makes 2 great mid-range jump shots, and then a one-handed hook layup from the free throw line. I don't even know what the fuck it was, but I'm not blaming Embiid for that.
Yeah.
It's the whole system of what they do at the end of games. It the ball sticks, and then the ball gets passed last second to a guy that needs to take that shot in that second. There's no rhythm built. There's no offensive flow to it. I think in regular time they gave 2 game-winning attempts to Paul George,
which I will say
great, but he did.
I agree with you. The one where Joel was on the right block and then kicked it to PG in the corner and it went halfway down. It was
the right play.
It was a good draw up. It was wide open. It almost went down. So that's tough. But I texted you that at the end of regulation or the end. Yeah, I think it was the end of regulation.
Because even Maxey was missing shots.
But it was Maxey and VJ for most of the fourth quarter, and then with the game on the line, it's 2 Joel shots and a Paul George shot, or 1 Joel shot and 2 Paul George. Doesn't make any sense to me. I agree with you, man. You mentioned rhythm, though, and end of game execution. I think it's how they start the games as well. And I was texting you a little frustrated because, don't get me wrong, this thing works. They can try to. When I say win a championship, I mean it loosely. I think as fans, we have to try to get that out of our heads. Like, we watch the West and we watch OKC and those teams, and it's like you can't do anything about that. All you can do is try to win and get there, right, in the first place. So stop worrying about, it's not going to matter because they're going to play. What are you going to, you know what I mean? We can't stop that.
We're going to have to grow light years this season before we can really have those championship aspirations. But
my point is, in the way that the East is set up this year, you're going to have an opportunity as if you're fully healthy. With that said, even though it works, it's only going to work with those 3 guys and everyone being healthy. This is Tyrese Maxey's offense, man. And you can't just play 100 miles an hour while Joel Embiid's on the floor. But you have to, when we talk about the Eagles with rhythm and balance, and it's going to take time. I know I'm rushing it. I know I was frustrated in the beginning of last night, but it's like, man, you get these 3 on the floor again. You watch how Maxey's been playing this year. Scotty took 1 shot until the 3-minute mark of the first quarter.
Yeah.
That's fucking inexcusable. And then every possession is shot clock down, shot clock down, shot clock down, Joel Embiid or Paul George. And Joel played great last night. I know I'm just, it shouldn't be forced is what I'm saying. And it seems like at the beginning of games and the end of game execution, they force to slow it all down, the ISO, dump down the Joe, and let's see what we get. No movement off ball, no nothing. And you played great offensive basketball the entire stretch in between there as a team. Everybody did. Yeah. I don't understand why you revert back to just doing that. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Even at the beginning, it just feels like contested Joel shots. Yeah. Last night he was hitting them, thankfully. But there's going to be nights where you can't rely on that. Maybe Joel needs to get inside, get in the paint to get his rhythm and get started. And
this isn't disrespect. He played well as well. But Dominic Barlow shouldn't have 2 or 3 shot attempts before Tyrese Maxey takes 1.
Yeah, no,
should never happen.
I feel you. I don't know. I guess they just got to continue to iron it out. Play with the same starting lineup for a little bit, because it's going to be an adjustment once Kelly Oubre comes back and is a big part of the rotation as well. He's a guy that likes to score the ball. He likes to have the ball in his hands and get his own shots as well. So that's going to be an adjustment, getting him back in the flow. You need to do it. He's too good to not do it for, but it's going to be another adjustment period. And I think that's what we're going through with them right now. To your point about Maxey, man, I think it's he's so good. You know what I mean? If the Sixers were in the top 3 of the Eastern Conference, he would be talked about in that MVP conversation right now. Last night he has 34 points and 12 assists, and I feel like that was like a quiet night. Like when you're watching the game, you see Embiid, you see VJ going off in this game, but quietly Maxi's just orchestrating everything, scoring at will. Yeah, it's very odd.
The crazy double clutch 3-pointer to end the first half to tie it. The one where Joel gave him a fucking hand grenade in the corner early in the game, and he chucks it up and hits the corner. Well, it was a deep 2 actually, but you get my point. To TR's point, 12 assists and no turnovers from Maxi last night. Yeah, dude, he's elevated. I know we've been saying this for weeks now since the season started. He's been dominant, but he's elevated himself to, like, I can't group him in like the consistent level of where, like, oh, would you rather have him? But like, in terms of playing this season, what are you doing on? What are you putting out there this season?
Yeah,
Tyrese Maxey's a superstar. Like this season, I'm not going to come out and be like, oh, Tyrese Maxey is with the superstars, like for good, like he's up there with. But what is Tyrese Maxey right now? He is playing like not a star, a superstar. You can go around and start listing off names, and odds are 98% of the time I'm going to tell you to beat it. No, I'd rather have Tyrese Maxey right now.
From a talent standpoint, I know this is controversial. I would take him over Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson's a few years older than Tyrese Maxey. Jalen Brunson has like his structure, right? He has like his go-to moves a little bit more than Maxey. But when you think about it from a talent standpoint, athleticism, shooting ability, he's a better three-point shooter than Jalen Brunson. He's a better driver. He's quicker than Jalen Brunson. What exactly is Jalen? Positioning and knowing where to be on the court, right? And that's going to come with age. By the time Maxey is Brunson's age, he's going to be clearing him by miles, in my opinion. So Brunson, I point out Brunson. You can still say Brunson's better than Maxey. I'm okay with that. I'm not going to argue with anybody on that. Just my opinion. But the fact that you can put him up and he can go head-to-head against Brunson in a series and almost cancel him out in that sense. I talk about Brunson that way because he's arguably the top guard in the Eastern Conference. Cade Cunningham's up there, but is he a guard or like I don't know. He's different, right? He's like 6'8" or whatever, 6'6". So that's a little different. But the Brunsons, the Donovan Mitchells of the world, the guys that can just give you 35 on a given night.
That's where he's at. That's what I mean, man. Look, it's only been, and I don't want to say it's only been like Tyrese Maxey has been elevating each and every season, right? But like in terms of just 35, 40, different. 50, everything, like, I won't come out and say, oh, he is a Donovan Mitchell tier. He is, but he's playing that tier this year. Yeah. And if he continues it for the coming months and in the postseason, he will be that tier moving forward. Like that's what he is right now. Each and every night, like it's just a consistent, like 31, 37.
Even on bad shooting nights, he just falls into 30 points now. It's interesting to watch.
Because his aggression level, man, he gets to even when he's not, that's the thing that I love about him. When he's not shooting well, he's not going to go out there. He's not going to go 2 for 11 from 3. Tyrese is going to put his head down and try to get to the line. And on the bad shooting nights, he's going to shoot 14 free throws.
Yeah. And in those nights where he is locked in from downtown, he has them fairly often, right? You can usually tell he'll hit 2 threes in like the first quarter, and you know he's locked in from downtown. Those nights, he's literally unstoppable. When he doesn't have to think about the shots that he's taking beyond the arc, he's unstoppable. So yeah, one last thing I wanted to ask you regarding the Sixers before we get out of here, man. Paul George, because I texted you last night. He was getting on my nerves at times. I mentioned the shot earlier. The corner shot at the end of the game, it's an open shot. It's the way it's the correct play to be made. I'm not going to complain about that. I just wanted to ask you because I don't know. Like, has he been good? Has he been average? Has he been bad? Like, what do you think from your perspective? I think he's just been like up and down, I guess.
I agree. In totality, I'll give him average to fine. Like he's right there. The thing with Paul George right now, man, is he'll hit a shot you don't expect him to. He'll pull up with a hand in his face and hit the top of the three. But I think when you would text me was literally the play I can't get out of my head I think it was a defensive play. We turn them over. We come down. Great pass, great drop-off pass. Boom, kick it out to the trailing Paul George for three. Like late in the fourth quarter, like we're going back and forth with Memphis. Hits the front of the rim. Memphis is going the other way. John Morant gets a bucket. It's like it falls into his hands. And in the times that maybe I don't want to say don't matter, but like early in the game, 40-footer knocks down a three. Holy shit. Late in the game, the corner three, the trailing three, this bucket.
Yeah.
It's like it almost feels like it's always him. Like why can't think about the confidence that would grow if Paul George knocked down that corner three to win the game last night.
I know. Yeah, it's just such a huge difference maker in your perception, right, of hitting that shot in the big moment versus, he had some contested mid-ranges down the stretch that went in and they would look nice, but there was just that moment, I think, where we were really making a push, like you said. I think we may have even had the lead out to 5 or 6 at that point. And it's like, if you make this play, if you get a bucket on this possession, we have a chance of opening this game up a little bit. And it's like a quick Paul George pull-up contested. And I get it because he can hit him. He can make it. It doesn't matter if the hand's in his face. It's about him making it or not. I do get that. It just gets really annoying at times when you do have VJ on like a heater in the second half, Maxey doing whatever he wants, getting into the lane, and then of course Embiid on a heater last night as well. So
I do have one question to throw your way though. Before we get out of here, and you mentioned the word adjustment earlier, and I think Nick Nurse, because we do get on him here and there on this show, I think he made a great adjustment last night, and that was running a Dembona out there with Joel Embiid for extensive minutes, specifically in crunch time. Down the stretch. And that wasn't to say Barlow was bad. Barlow was fine, but it brought Bona's motor, like Bona's pursuit of the ball wherever it is, whether it's coming off the glass, whether it's going up and he's trailing and it's not even his man, he comes over. Bona's going after the ball. And so Bona's defensive motor, man, the loose ball pursuit, the blocks, the athleticism he provides. Obviously, he's not a stretch guy, but Joel's a stretch guy, so they don't really clog up the paint together, like in that sense. I love the adjustment because it worked last night, especially in a game where you were getting picked apart. And it's not like the defense really picked up in the second half or anything, but 28 and 28 in the third and fourth quarter is a hell of a lot better than 40 and 32. So. And
to that point, I think you did at least start to see Cedric Howard not be able to get into the lane, different things like that. The rebounding got a little bit better. And he did hit 2 huge free throws down the stretch too in the fourth quarter. Shout out to Dembona. Shout out to Nick Nurse for recognizing that. He also kept Grimes in there for an extended amount of time as well down the stretch, which I thought Grimes was kind of just filling in, doing all the little things in the margins. I think that's the bright side with this Sixers team. One, they've shown they have depth. They also have room to grow. We still are waiting for Jared McCain to really find his role within the team. We're going to wait for Kelly Oubre to get back. We've seen hints from Jabari Walker. We've seen hints from Barlow. We've seen hints from Dembona. It's like, which one of these or two? Or maybe all of these guys have their role, but what does it really become? So it's exciting, man. I think you have one of the biggest upsides in the Eastern Conference. I think that
I completely agree with you. I saw a clip, and I think it might be an older clip, but it just popped up on my For You page, and it's you and Slim on TikTok, and it was you talking about the Sixers and how in previous years you've always felt like you needed them to make a bigger move at the deadline. Yeah. And right now, and obviously the injuries have to come to fruition, right? Like you mentioned, Kelly coming back, and a guy you didn't even mention, like Trendon Watford, who can play that forward position, that 3, that can contribute as well in a big spot. I'd have to go through and really look, and who would I prefer as an 8-man, as a 9-man down the list, and other Eastern Conference teams. But fully healthy, is there a on paper deeper team? Don't get me wrong. This Sixers team has accomplished nothing together. I'm not trying to come out and say, oh, the Cavs are who had the 1 seed last year, or the Knicks, and whatever. But you mentioned the Maxey, Paul George, Embiid, VJ, Kelly, Watford. McCain,
Yeah.
Grimes, Bona. So like, just keep going.
Yeah.
I mean, you're legitimately talking 12 plus guys who obviously they're not going to play. They're not going to all play like that.
But they're contributing right now. Yeah.
So when you look around the East, the Knicks have Landry Shamet still contributing for them.
Yeah.
We get into their roster, we get into the depth of Cleveland coming off the bench. Like, we know there's, Garland and Mobley and Allen and Mitchell and everything. But like, when we get down to that bench, what's that look like compared to Philly's depth? Yeah. So get healthy, man. That's the final thing here. Obviously, we have to say it every fucking show, every year, every month. It doesn't matter with this team.
Healthy, stay healthy.
But having fun, dude. Like, Joel, I don't know if you peeped it because he didn't put the arms up to do it last night, but like, and then he's like during the timeout, they showed him dancing, they showed VJ doing it. It's like, this team, I feel like early in the year the vibes were high, and then the vibes kind of dropped off somewhere in the middle, just a little bit. Like, whatever, they didn't seem like they're having as much fun, whatever. And like, a game like last night was fun, and it comes out with a win. And it's like, that's something that can get you on the right track. So
that was
I loved it.
That was the most comfortable I've seen Joel all season, for sure. Like, even when he's hitting the floor, you've seen him throughout this season grabbing at his knee, his leg, whatever the case may be. There was none of that last night. He would hit the floor, get right back up, get back to it. Even tried to go off the backboard to himself last night, right? Ended up on his back, gets back up, gets back on defense, though. Like,
Scotty,
I was just happy he wasn't injured. Like,
hey, Scotty, bro, I thought he hurt his back or hit his head on the way down.
Because I think he like slipped on somebody's foot as he was coming down and fell straight on his back.
He did, and then I didn't know if his head came back and hit the ground. And like, don't get me wrong, from seeing the bounce and seeing the risk taker, like, oh, is this knee gonna? That was awesome, and it should have. I don't know how it didn't go down, man. It was ferocious. Yeah. So it was fun to see. But brother, if he would have hurt himself the same exact way he hurt himself in the Knicks playoff game 2 years ago, I don't know what I would have done. I really don't. But actually, before we're going to hop off in a second, TR, but I agree, dude. Like, this is something that has transitioned really over the last couple of weeks. Catch and shoot, but more importantly, Scotty, off the dribble. This kid will take you off the dribble, not just in the mid-range. He'll take you off the dribble and step back for a three now. And it's butter sometimes.
Yeah. He's interesting. You can just tell he stays in the gym. I think that's the biggest indication. Because coming out of college, that was not his strong suit by any means. And even to start this season, he started out hot and then went through a little bit of a slump, and now is really getting back to that form. Last game, I think it was against well, I didn't catch much of the OKC game. I'm not going to lie to you. I think it was leading up until the Eagles game. So I just wasn't even trying to have my vibes disturbed by that. The game before that was the Bulls game, and I think VJ had a stinker in that one. Comes back out, and what I mean by stinker, bad shooting night against the Bulls. Comes back out last night, the last time I've seen him since, right? And he's comes out and goes 5 for 10 from the 3-point line. It's consistent. And when he knocks one down, you see him knock down 2 or 3 in a row. And I think that's the sign of a good shooter as well, man. So VJ has been, I actually mentioned, I tagged Harrison Grimm on Twitter this morning because, man, he was all over VJ Edgecombe going into the draft. I was more in the Ace Bailey camp. I was, I had my eyes all over the place. I didn't have them solely on VJ Edgecombe, kind of like he did. And shouted out Harrison Grimm. He watches a lot of tape, watches a lot of film of college hoops, and he was all over this being the right pick for the Sixers. And I think all signs point to that being the case so far, man. Gives me so much hope for a future, bro. Yep. I don't know. We have a present, obviously, with Joel, with PG, but there was some concern around the future when you just have Maxey. Now we have McCain. Now we have VJ. Now you have that first round pick from the Clippers, which they fucking suck. So things are actually looking like promising. Knock on wood.
Yo, I know we're about to wrap up, but that is like, I remember like when they made the Beal thing, and obviously he's out for the season, but I remember like seeing the graphic of like all the ages on the roster. And obviously you know that was never going to work out.
Yeah.
But I question how they stink. Like
how?
I question how you have, and I know like they both missed time and Kawhi's missed time, but like even with Kawhi playing, when you have Kawhi Leonard and James Harden, and like just from and again, maybe this is just like the direction of the league and where like I like have to catch up. Where like how I always tell you I get pissed when the Sixers lose to like these young no name type of guys, and it's like, well, we have Joel Embiid, we have Paul George. How the fuck are we? You know what I mean? Maybe it's just the way the league's going because I'm trying to. Yeah, here it is. Pull it up, man. Like beyond James and Kawhi, like you made the move for John Collins. You have Zubac and Brook Lopez as your 2 5s. You brought Batum back. You have a Derek Jones Jr. You have a Chris Dunn. You brought in Bogdanovich, who I know is hurt right now. I'm just questioning how you stink.
Like how?
Like there's not a name I just read that hasn't been a quality basketball player in this league before. Chris Dunn, defensively. John Collins, both a little bit. Derek Jones Jr., athletically. Bogdanovich, shooter. Batum can be shooter, veteran. Lopez and Zubac do different things. 2 7-footers. Harden and Leonard, your stars. And you're 11 and 21. I don't know how that adds up, dude.
Yeah, Harden's been hooping.
Now, I will say we've clearly missed something because I was unaware that they are on a 5-game winning streak.
So they are bouncing back a little bit. That's probably since Kawhi's been back. I haven't looked at it at the standings in a little bit, but yeah, it's probably since Kawhi's come back. So, I mean, that kind of explains it, to be fair. But it is the Western Conference.
I don't know, bro. Hold on. Because I thought I remembered Kawhi was back in the middle of that long losing streak.
So he's been back for quite a while.
I'm checking now. Yeah, he played when they lost to Memphis, Minnesota, Houston, Memphis, OKC. He played in them. Did he play in this one? Yeah, no, he's been back for a little while. So,
well, we need them to start losing again. So
yeah, it's true. It is funny though. Like, yeah, Kawhi's played in 22 games this year. He's averaging 28. Like, Kawhi's still doing Kawhi.
He's still doing Kawhi things, and I was hoping they would lose, and maybe some of the pieces get shifted around. I don't know, but the other thing I wanted to mention though, looking at because the Sixers were on a 3-game losing streak going into that game last night, you have to get those dubs against the Nets, right? Like teams like that, like. You see what happens the next time you play the Bulls in Chicago. Yeah. That's a team you should still beat, but that's a tougher team than the Nets. It's not an automatic win on the road. You lose that game, and then you get the defending champions in OKC. So, yeah, you get the Nets on your schedule. Win those games for us, please, so we can maintain some consistency.
It's a good point, man. But, guys, with that said, that is going to wrap up this New Year's Eve edition of the Phaithful Fanatic Show. We will be back with you guys Wednesday. It is Wednesday. Friday afternoon, talking Eagles Commanders. Will the starters play or will they be rested heading into the postseason? More Sixers talk. You never know. Maybe more Phillies talk by that point. Maybe some Flyers. So we don't know. We're about to head into 2026 on a high note. For myself, for Scotty, for DSM, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the holiday, and we will talk to you guys later. Peace out.
Go Birds.